Hi there folks, welcome back to Rich Reviews. It's a Friday folks, hooray for that. Celebrate folks, hooray. So in the latest of documentaries, and I'm finally getting around to reviewing this film here folks, Give Me Roger Stone, and it's co-written and co-directed by Dylan Blake and Daniel D. Moore. Well, of course, the ultimate question is here, for those of you who don't know, who is Roger Stone? And if you've never heard him, or you have vaguely heard the name, or you've never seen him, he's basically a political operative and a campaign dirty trickster who's the king of all the campaign dirty tricksters since the age of Nixon. So Jerry Toobin says of Roger Stone, think of him as the evil version of Forrest Gump of American politics here. Which is like, sure, you could say that. I wouldn't necessarily go that far. His first cut into politics, or manipulating politics, when he was in school, and he told everyone at school when it was mock election for Nixon versus Kennedy that if you vote for Nixon, Nixon will make you go to school on a Saturday. Which is like, yeah, I wouldn't want to go to school on a Saturday, so I'll vote for this guy. And then eventually he found his way on to the Nixon re-election committee, and he proudly states, yes, I was the youngest person named in the Watergate hearings, which, okay, congratulations. And you see Roger Stone's lair full of all Nixon things. He even has a Nixon tattoo on his back, which I guess that's how much you have a devoted following to Nixon. Have you ever wondered where the first sewer PAC came from? Well, Roger Stone basically invented the sewer PAC here, folks. And during the 80s, first of all, he did political consulting work for Ronald Reagan. Then after Ronald Reagan got elected, he started his own political consulting for himself. A guy named with the last name of Black, and Paul Manafort. Yes, that Paul Manafort himself. A guy named with the last name of Black, and Paul Manafort. Yes, that Paul Manafort before Corey Lewandowski got ousted as campaign chair. So basically, yay, Roger Stone has had his hands in Trump world ever since. Before all this, it was considered sort of unseemly if you did consulting, then you went to lobbying that guy you previously consulted with, and that he made this into an art form. I guess also in his consulting firm, he had a whole bunch of African warlords, which people now find to be distasteful. This documentary is filmed over a course of 5 years, and basically Roger Stone first encountered Donald Trump in 1987 and encouraged him to run for president. Now, of course, Donald Trump says in 87, I wasn't ready to run back then. Now, of course, Trump did do some speaking gigs, like one at the Chamber of Commerce. Now, of course, if you don't remember, Donald Trump did briefly decide to run in the early 2000s to run for the Reform Party nomination. Yes, you'll remember the Reform Party. If you don't, it was something that Ross Perot started in '96 as a third party option. And of course, Roger Stone found himself thinking, if we can only find a way for the Reform Party to implode, that way we can make sure a Republican gets into office again. Now, of course, Pat Buchanan tried to run for the Reform Party nomination, and his plans were nearly tried to be derailed by Trump. And now, of course, Trump did eventually pull out of the Reform Party nomination, because the Reform Party now included Pat Buchanan, David Duke, and Leo Filani, who was a communist at the point. So basically, the Reform Party had both the extreme right and the extreme left. Then, of course, wham, bam, boom, the Reform Party basically imploded. Now, of course, everyone sort of kind of assumes that, yes, Roger Stone sort of had his hand in creating the chaos that was the Reform Party mess. And Roger Stone is basically like, sure, I could have done all that stuff. He also could have been involved with the messing of the Florida ballots in 2000 as well. He says, sure, I could have been involved in that. Now, of course, Donald Trump does eventually decide to run, and I guess Roger Stone is brought in as a consultant. But of course, Roger Stone was like go after that first debate, obviously where Trump embarrasses Megyn Kelly and says all those weird things. People interviewed here basically think, yes, Roger Stone was fired. Now, of course, Roger Stone firmly denies this. He says he's quit. And, make it of what you will, Now, of course, as much as he is a Republican, he views himself more and more now as a libertarian. Which I'm thinking to myself, okay, if Hillary had won the election by a slim majority over Trump, would he then go to the Libertarian Party and cause chaos there? But hey, look, who knows? Throughout this film, you know, Roger Stone has a set of rules that he likes to talk about. One of them is, and also he talks about the 4 different stages of fame here. 1 is, who is Roger Stone? 2, get me Roger Stone. 3, get me a Roger Stone type. And 4, who is Roger Stone? One of the rules that he has is that he says it's better to be infamous than not to be famous at all, which, yes, do I agree with that? Yeah, sure. And the director asked him 2 questions at one point during this film. One of which is, you know, what do you say to those people who say you have no soul and no principles? He says those people are bitter losers, which, again, it's not hard to argue with that. Roger Stone says, like, you know, if people didn't hate me, I wouldn't be doing my job correctly. Again, that's also true, because there are just some people that want to get a rise out of you, and Roger Stone has perfectly done that to many folks. You know, again, would I hang out with Roger Stone? No, I wouldn't, because, well, first and foremost, he hangs out with Alex Jones, and he's that InfoWars guy who's really farther, he's basically a conspiratorial nut. You know, Tucker Carlson is interviewed at one point basically saying, you know, hey, the world might be ending, but Roger Stone is determined to enjoy the ride here, folks. Of course, if you really think about it, Donald Trump pledged to drain the swamp of lobbyists and everyone else that have been mucking up Washington for the last 20, 30 some odd years. But who does he hire? Roger Stone, who is indeed the swamp. So in the end, folks, Sammy Roger Stone is an interesting look at a man who you may or may not like, or you may think is a great American hero for getting Trump elected. What I'm going to say here, folks, getting Roger Stone, I think, you know, is a leave work early type of deal, because, yes, it provides you with insight of who this man is and how basically, you know, he just loves doing this. So, folks, what did you think of Get Me Roger Stone? Did you happen to like this film? Did you not have to care for it at all? Put that in the comment box below here, folks. As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe, enrich yourself with knowledge. I'll see you next time, folks.